Eric Voss, if you're watching this, if you see this somehow, dude, you know what? Thanks for giving us incredible theories.
Yeah.
And we want more Mephisto theories. Give us even more. Let the haters hate. We want more Mephisto theories.
And enjoy your basking. You've earned it.
Hello, everybody. Welcome in to issue 14 of the Comic Room Pod. Glad to have you here. 14.
Yeah.
I guess every week I'm just going to keep being blown away by the fact that we're at a higher number than we were the previous
week.
Week.
It's funny how that works.
But yes, welcome in. Today we got a fun little episode. We got show and tell as normal. Got some pretty good news this week in relation to Lanterns.
Mm-hmm.
Hal Jordan casting. Got a Thunderbolts trailer. We're going to talk about the big name drop that happened in Mephisto. And Bob finally watched Joker, so he'll give his review. And next week's episode, we're going to record like right after we watch Joker 2.
Yeah.
So
like we did with Deadpool.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll have a little layup for Joker 2 in today's episode, or a little assist rather. So what else am I missing? Spoilers for Agatha. This comes out Monday, so typically the rule for TV shows is if you haven't watched it by the end of the weekend, like that's kind
on
of
you.
like, yeah, that's on you.
Okay.
For movies, it's like a couple weeks.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when we talk about Joker 2, we can't be spoiler free, or we'll do like we did with Deadpool, spoiler free, and then alert
a little
spoilers.
bit for both. Yeah.
Okay.
So with Agatha, there's no reason in a spoiler. Like, I don't care. I mean, I do think the show's good, but it's like there's not much to say spoiler free wise.
I don't think there's anything in it that's actually spoiling anything. Like they're just unfolding more mysteries.
Yeah.
At this point, so
So
no answers have come, so we can't really spoil anything.
Right. So yeah, follow us on Instagram at Spros_comics, and you are
Mr. Longbox.
Yep. Check us out on Instagram. So yeah, without further ado, kick us off with show and tell.
Okay, so my show and tell is two books, but with a common theme, and that common theme is L.B. Cole. L.B. Cole, as I'm sure many of you know, if not all of you know, is this very, very sought after, amazing artist from the Golden Age, and specifically known for his horror covers and some jungle covers as well, and known for his bright colors, and also known for being very, very expensive. Like you just can't get, I can't say can't because I did.
Yeah.
But it's very difficult to find an L.B. Cole cover in a decent condition for a bargain price. And but I did, and I found it in a very unexpected place. In fact, if you go online and look for L.B. Cole, this probably will not pop up. Even on like the information pages about L.B. Cole, it's that obscure. And it is the Living Bible.
Nice.
Had 2 issues that came out in I should have looked this up, in the 40s, that L.B. Cole was contracted to write. And you can see he's got a signature. I know you'll zoom in on this later, but his signature is right there at the bottom of each one. This is issue 1 and this is issue 2. Surprisingly, issue 1 is from the New Testament. Issue 2 is the Old Testament. You'd think it would have gone the other way, right?
Backwards.
But
yeah.
anyway, these I picked up in the summer actually on eBay for each one less than $50. Between like one was 30 something and the other was about maybe 50 with shipping, whatever. And that's a ridiculous price for an L.B. Cole cover. And there was a one that I wanted. I'm gonna put this one in the front because I like this. This is the best cover. I think they're both cool covers, but this cover here has some of the hallmark L.B. Cole characteristics. You see the Apostle Paul here. It's got those stripes, and if you see L.B. Cole covers, he loves to do stripes. And you see the Pharaoh has stripes here too. He loves to put a lot of color, so a lot of things have multicolored stripes, and you can see it on Paul's tunic here. And then you also, L.B. Cole's known, he's done some shark comic book covers and ocean. And you can see that similar texturing that he does with the ocean on this cover right here. And there were only two issues of this particular series. Those are the two. And both were were LB Cole covers. Neither one is in great shape, but when you talk about an LB Cole cover, it's not probably as much about condition for just the collector. For the investor, it would be, of course, but for the collector, it's really about eye appeal. Like, what's the appeal of this book? And like, I don't know if this other one will fall out or not, but this one here has great eye appeal. There just isn't. There's no creasing or now. If you look at the bottom, you got pieces missing out of the bottom, but it almost looks like it's just part of the cover.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. It's just the ocean. That's all. Thankfully, LB Cole signed it right on the little wrapping, the metal wrapping of this beam from the ship. Yeah, and so that didn't get torn off. But that's all. It's got this missing pieces here. But other than that, I mean, it's really sharp and clean. And this one here has a little more like staining up in here, but you really don't notice it. So anyway, these are the only LB Cole covers I have. And it was one of my goals over the summer to get an LB Cole cover. And I saw a lot of them show up on claim sales. I was looking on eBay, and there wasn't anything less than $300-400.
Yeah,
you know,
for sure.
For like 3020. If you wanted something higher than that, then you're in triple digit or 4-digit prices. You know, thousands. But then these just kind of emerged on eBay, and I haven't seen them pop up since then for that price. So I don't really know what happened, except that I guess I was meant to get them. You know, and I remember there was a higher grade copy of this one, and I tried to get it and I didn't get it. So what I wound up, or maybe it was this one, I can't remember anymore, but what the result was, I was able to get both for what I had budgeted to get the one. So I said, well, I didn't get the one I wanted, so I'll just get both, you know? Yeah. And so I'm actually happy to have both. So anyway, I still, doesn't mean I don't want an LB Cole horror cover, or doesn't mean I don't want an LB Cole, maybe shark cover or one of these. I would like to get one of the jungle cover. I would like to get one of those. But that's going to have to be like, that's kind of a distant grail type thing I'm looking for down the road. But just getting a cover with LB Cole was on my list. And I also think it's kind of cool because it's just off the radar stuff. I mean, not a lot of people are buying, comic books that are about the Bible,
Yeah.
But I like it. I think it's great. I've actually opened them and read them because I thought it was, wondering how they would adapt it,
Yeah.
So just a cool little add to my collection.
Nice. Yeah, they're great. Yeah, I was looking for them. But yeah, the Lord guided your hand when you bought these, because I cannot find them at the same deal that you got them.
Yeah, exactly. Just lined up for me. There's also another if it's like Bible comics. An interesting thing is Gaines, the guy who started EC Comics, or at least is most associated with EC Comics. His start in comics was actually publishing New and Old Testament comic books.
Oh, interesting.
And so you can pick those up. They're not that expensive. They do show up. And I want to get that too eventually, because I think it's just historic.
Yeah.
Especially, and I think there's a little the there that the guy who wound up being the Exhibit A for why the Comics Code got slapped onto comics got his start in comics printing Bible stories. I think there's something funny and historic about that, right? But anyway, stoked to get the LB Cole covers.
Yeah, those are awesome. I like the colors on this, and he didn't use as much color on this one.
No,
but the emphasis is on all the color is here on Pharaoh.
Yeah,
which is cool. That is his use of color. There is to flex.
Hey, look, it's not a shark cover, but it's a whale cover. He does the story of Jonah is told in this, so you can see there's a whale. So it's an LB Cole whale cover. What about that? That might be the only one in existence.
Yeah, that's something.
Yeah,
nice. Sweet.
All right.
Now time for my show and tell. Oh, you leave those up there.
Oh yeah, leave them up. Okay.
Because I don't have mine are already on the wall.
Oh, yeah, of course.
So something happened this week for me. I was watching a claim sale by Jaws Comics, and Jaws always has fantastic books, high grade. If you're a 9.8 seeker, he's got them.
Yeah.
Just some of the best books I've ever seen in claim sales, and just a really good guy, always giving out amazing deals. So I watched his claim sale, and I'm not spending money because we got AtCon coming up, and, we had LA Comic Con coming up, and, I was like, I'm not spending money because we got AtCon coming up, and, we had LA Comic Con 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 coming up, and, we had LA then he throws up Fantastic Four 5. And I was like, oh man, beautiful. Like 2-0. I was like, that's like in the ideal wheelhouse that I like if I had the money for it right now. But with the Doom Boom, it was like, it's kind of like, you know, you guys, I complained about it here. I complained about it to you while we're at San Diego Comic-Con. Like, I totally shut down all my hopes and dreams of getting that book. So I'm just hanging out in the claim sale doing like, I think I was like working out, doing some chores around the house. And I'm just kind of like lurking, seeing if anybody's getting rid, or if anybody's buying the FF5. Nobody's buying it. He showed it close up once. So I like paid attention, and gorgeous 2.0.
Yeah.
Like really, really nice 2.0. 2.0 is pretty much like the last grade that you get. It's like where it's like barely hanging on to everything.
Yeah.
It's like the staples are still attached. Like
the centerfold is still attached.
You still have everything. And it's like the last leg of hope.
There are no chunks out of the cover.
Right.
You know?
So he shows it and I'm like, man, that's a beautiful book. So I'm watching the whole claim sale. And then by the end of it, it doesn't sell. So I was like, I wonder if he would trade for it. I was like, most people probably won't. I was like, but why not? Like, I could ask. Like, if nobody bought it then maybe I could offer him some like smaller, nice pieces.
Yeah.
That would help break that up. So, and just that we know from live sales is there's some sharks out there and they like to get books at the best absolute deal, sometimes at the cost of ripping off a seller. So sometimes you'll see some big low balls. So I just shot him a message and I was like, hey, like, are you open to trade?
Yeah.
And he took a couple hours to respond. He said he was out at dinner and he was like, yeah, send me what you got. So that was a shock to me. That was a big shock.
That he was willing to trade it all.
Yeah. It was a shot in the dark for me. I didn't have my hopes up. And then he said, let me see what you got. And so I was like, okay, my foot's in the door.
Yeah.
Like,
it's a conversation.
Yeah, exactly. So I was like, okay, what can I offer him? So I go into all my boxes of slabs and this is what I pull out. With the exception of the books on the top, that's just my 4 earliest Doctor Doom appearances right there. Which I don't even think you guys can see. You guys can see like 3/4 of them on the main camera. But all of these right here, these bottom 8, is kind of what I got. So I sent him, there was a couple other books in there too. We kind of negotiated prices. I conceded some prices on my end, and he definitely conceded some on his end. Like, he was really, really fair with me. And we came to a deal. Wow. Yeah.
And you were texting me in the process of this, and I mean, he was so excited and like just on pins and needles, you know, trying to make this thing work. And you know, but like you said, Joss Comics is a fair guy. Yeah. You know, and so go ahead.
Yeah. So one of the things that he had said was just kind of like, because there came a point where the negotiation, I thought it was gonna like bottom out and we were done. But then he had said something along the lines of like, yeah, like I want to get keys into people's hands, like, or I want to get grails into people's hands. Like that's all I wanted. This isn't his day job. He does this on the side. So, you know, there's like more of like a flexibility that one can have when it's a side hustle or just like something you do for fun. And so then we kind of like revamped the trade a little bit. I took a couple of books out, put one in, threw some cash on top, and he accepted. So we have a scheduled meetup for this Sunday. So I'm hoping that everything is smooth until then. I'm still, Jaws is a good dude. I don't think he's going to pull the rug on me. But anything could happen. And so I'm still remembering that until I give him this pile of books and he hands me FF5 and we shake hands and take a picture together.
and I'm going with you because I want to be there for the moment. It's a big moment.
Yeah. Probably have you be recording it.
For sure.
So, Yeah. So this comes out Monday. This podcast comes out Monday. So check my Instagram because if all goes well Sunday, then on my Instagram, you will see a picture of me holding FF5.
What you're really going to see is a mugshot of me running away with your FF5. And you're like, has anyone seen Mr. Period Longbox? Because he absconded with my FF5. APB out for him.
Oh, man. So just real quick, I just wanted to kind of like go through these 8 books as my show and tell. I'll make it as quick as possible. Some of them meaningful, like a little bit of like meaningful stories. Others, they're not like really that big of a deal to me, but getting this book is a big deal for me. And so again, thank you Jaws Comics for making this happen. If it didn't go through Monday, then I take that back, but I don't think that's going to happen. So let's start over here. So we got this Batman 232, first appearance of Ra's al Ghul. I actually got that at Shortboxed, or not Shortboxed.
Was that a con, wasn't it?
Yeah, what was Torpedo?
Torpedo.
I got that at Torpedo a couple months ago.
Yeah. Raw.
No, not
Raw.
Raw.
It wasn't Raw?
No.
Okay, sorry.
I got it graded, yeah.
Okay.
And it's I made money on this one in the trade already. So couple months. I bought it at a deal, if you guys remember the video. And yeah, just a fantastic book. And when I bought it, Bob will remember I was like saying that I'm like, it was this weird thing where I bought it and I owned it, and then I immediately was like, wow, I'm glad that I have it. I now have like no problem selling it.
Yeah. So, it was like, I got it, catch and release.
Exactly. Like, yeah. So also part of buying it was so that I could get Batman 227.
Yeah, as a bundle.
So, because it's easier to negotiate when you bundle stuff. So that was a book I've kind of always wanted. And then when I got it in the bundle, it helped me get a cheaper pricer for both of those books. So
you just didn't know that you were going to send Batman 227 to CGC and they were going to hold it for half a year.
Yeah, no kidding.
It's still scheduled for grading, by the way.
Really?
Yeah. 2 months later.
They get a pass this week because of the hurricane, but
no passes for hurricanes. You have a week in advance notice. Come
on. Ultimate Fallout 496. I should say for audio listeners, Batman 232 is an 8.0 off-white to white. Ultimate Fallout 4, 9.6 white pages. I have a 9.8 copy. This was just the first copy that I bought. Yeah, not much to say. Everybody knows about this book. Down here, ASM 300, an iconic Spider-Man book. A cover that has influenced hundreds of other covers. Again, not much to say about this book. This is an 8.5 white pager, direct. Though it's probably like a 9.4 presenting, but there's like a piece of the cover missing down here.
Oh. Well.
But so if it didn't have that, it would be like a higher 9, but because of that, it doesn't.
And you can always get that again, even in an 8.5, in an 8.5 if you, when you want to.
Yeah. So that's not a hard book to come by. These next 2 books, Marvel Spotlight 5, and then right over there, Marvel Spotlight 6. I bought these Christmas Eve, like a couple years ago. At the time, I got a really good deal on them. I got them both for like $2,000. And I think at the time, last sold on just this one was $28. And even like the sale before that was still like, I think it was like $25. So it was like up there. So I was like, dang, both for $2. It's a good deal. And then the book just crashed. Crashed hard. So I think I'm losing a few hundred on those 2 books are the books I'm losing the most on. I was holding out on this book because there was rumors that like they wanted Ryan Gosling to play Johnny Blaze, which I think will help the book still when it comes out. But in this scenario, I am more than happy to trade.
Yeah.
For what I'm getting.
It's a great book, but you got to give something to get something.
Yeah, exactly. So, also one of the like executives at Marvel was saying that they're wanting to do like a Danny Ketch Ghost Rider. So I think it'll still bump this book up because it's the first appearance of Ghost Rider. But yeah, Danny Ketch, why?
Yeah, and then you also, you also have the horseback Ghost Rider too. Like it's an odd one.
Yeah.
Like, but I think I just think of that as a different character. I just don't think of it as the same.
No. And he wears all white too, I think, as to like be a ghost.
Yeah.
So, and then there's the Rob, what's his name? Robbie something.
Yeah.
The Hispanic one. So,
yeah.
Yeah, 2 honestly great books with the retired custom label. Yeah, great books, honestly. And then we got Wolverine 8. That's a CGC 9/8. I bought that. I bought the Hulk 181 and Batman. What's the one with his cape? Why am I blanking on it?
Oh, I don't remember either.
3 or 2?
No, it's 340 is the Hulk 340. I don't remember. I've never owned that book, so I don't have it in my head.
Yeah, I don't know why I'm blanking on the
McFarlane one, right?
Yeah, the McFarlane one where he's got the cape.
Yeah.
Anyways, so I bought the Wolverine 8, the Hulk 340, and that Batman book 341? 351? I don't know. I bought them all from actually our LCS. They had gotten a high grade collection in. That came back a 9. I bought them all raw. That came back a 9/8. The Hulk 340 came back a 9/8, and the Batman came back a 9/6. So I sold the 340 to get my Daredevil 1, and now I'm trading this one to get FF5. So
wow, Mega Grail's coming your way.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Up there in the middle, we got Edge of Spider-Verse 2, first appearance of Spider-Gwen. That was the first copy that I got. I have another 9/6 and I have a 9/2. So I'm kind of stacked on those books.
Yeah, you won't miss this one.
No, I won't. So the other 9/6 that I have, I cracked it, pressed it, thought it was a 9/8, came back a 9/6. So
You took your shot.
maybe I need to crack it again and submit it with a pre-screen or something.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. But then you want to get it slabbed. You don't want to come back raw again.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know.
But yeah, so first copy of Spider-Verse I ever got. I actually bought that. One of the books that I was trying to negotiate with this trade was Silver Surfer 3, first appearance of Mephisto. I have that in a 6.0 white pager, and I bought that book and that book together. So the Silver Surfer 3 and that together at my first LA Comic Con. First time we ever went. So, yeah. And the last book over there, probably the most meaningful book actually out of all of these, is Nyx 3, First Appearance of X-23. That was like the first, similar to you, that was like the first Grail that I ever bought.
We bought it within 24 hours of each other.
Yeah.
Or even within 8 hours of each other. Even.
Yeah.
The same guy.
Yeah, maybe even minutes.
Yeah, it might have been.
So, yeah, I'm not upset about passing that one on. That again is not a hard book to find, and it's up right now. That book has, I mean, we haven't talked market stuff in a while, but couple things that I've noticed. Nyx 3 has held its value since we bought that book.
Yes.
Like that's one of the few books that like keys that we bought in 2022 that is like that's worth more than what we bought it in 2022.
Yeah, that's rare.
Also, that Edge of Spider-Verse, that 9.6 actually, weirdly enough, last sale is higher than the last sale than Ultimate Fallout 4, and the Ultimate Fallout 4 9.8 crashed almost $1,000, which is a lot of money. That Edge of Spider-Verse a 9.8 crashed almost $1,000. Went from like a $2,000 book to now it goes like. Seems like it's bottoming out at like 900. Yeah. I don't think it's going to go lower than that. It shouldn't go lower than that. But Edge of Spider-Verse had a shorter fall, which I think was it was at 1,200 for a 9.8. And now 9.8s, they go for about like, well, I guess it's still 50%, but I don't know. It just feels like less. But there's one listed right now on Elite going for 650. So I guess they both did fall 50%, but I don't know, with this falling 50%, you would think that would fall more than that.
Yeah.
But
people like their Spider-Gwen, I guess.
So, yeah.
I mean, she's heavily featured in the Spider-Verse movies, especially the second one.
Yeah. So, trading all those books and a little bit of cash for a personal grail of mine. Or not personal to me yet, but
something you've won as long as we've ever talked about comics. It's been, Doom and Daredevil are kind of, and then some Batman stuff, but you can't, like we were said before, because of Batman being a golden age, you can't consider those.
You get what you can.
Yeah, exactly. You're not getting
what you want.
You're not getting Batman 1.
Yeah.
You're not doing it. Which of course we know the only thing it's got going for is the first Catwoman.
Yeah, that's the only thing.
First Joker. Yeah. Anyway,
but so I'm excited. So make sure that you got the notification bell on for next week's episode, because we'll be talking Joker, Folly Ado. Oh dang! There's also, I guess it depends. This depends how much we like or don't like Folly Ado, like how long we'll talk about it. Or maybe we just make it a longer episode, or we delay it until the week after. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, because we'll have a lot of other stuff to talk about. But
yeah,
imagine if we really like it, we'll talk less. If we didn't like it, we'll talk more.
Yeah,
it's more fun to bag on a movie than it is to say it's great.
Sure. But yeah, Sunday, if everything goes down smoothly, then next episode we'll have to figure out what we're talking about and how long all of it will take. But just as a teaser, we'll want to talk about like the art of hunting, I guess.
Yes. Well, tell them about our LA Comic-Con decision.
Yeah. So we were supposed to be at LA Comic-Con, or we're supposed to be going to go to LA Comic-Con, which is Saturday when you guys watch this.
We have our badges.
Yeah, we have our badges. We bought the ticket.
One day.
Just Saturday only. And we bought them we bought them at whatever point. And then a week later, like just shy of a week later, Elite announces at Con. And we both were like, oh man, we're like a week, like we would have waited. We probably wouldn't have bought these tickets.
We did it because they were LA Comic-Con was offering a promotion where you didn't have to pay any fees.
Yeah.
Any ticketing fees or whatever if you bought it that weekend.
Yeah.
So we did. And little did we know that LA Comic-Con was going to coincide with Elite's at Con, which you might think, well, just you got to go to LA Comic-Con. I mean, we were just at San Diego Comic-Con, so and we're at WonderCon before that, and we're going to go to WonderCon again probably. But we've talked about this before, like where are the best places to get deals, and
Yeah.
I sat down and we're trying to figure out how we're going to make this next week work, because of course AtCon is so much fun, and we want to do some live streaming from that and all that. And we realized I don't think we can do both to the extent that we really want. Like, especially the sellers that we saw that were going to be there on AtCon on the day that we're supposed to be at LA Comic-Con.
Right.
So then Joshua, tell them what you said. You floated the unthinkable suggestion.
Yeah, that we just don't go to LA Comic-Con and we stay home and do AtCon instead.
We don't go to the LA Comic-Con we already bought tickets for. That's and it wasn't really a hard decision. It was like, yeah, it kind of makes sense.
Yeah, because for one, our listeners know, like, we're not the biggest proponents of the pricings at cons, so there's that. And the only reason really why we're going to LA is because it's in our neighborhood. So, it's fun to go to cons at the end of the day. Like, it's not like
it is fun to go to cons.
Yeah,
but you know what else is fun is sitting here with that TV on over there with snacks and hanging out and watch these amazing dealers just parade these amazing comics past us one after another at really good prices. Yeah.
So we save travel time, we save parking fee, we save food, and we save probably frustration.
Yeah.
So
it is what it is,
Yeah.
It's like, if I could go back in time, I would save the $60 on the ticket, but
sure.
I think it's, that money's spent either way, no matter what we decide to do. It's already been spent. So, and the truth is when the Saturday rolls around, we talked about it. Like I'm going to be there, like getting jostled on the busiest day, trying to go through a Longbox, looking at stuff, looking at the prices on the walls, these comics going, it's more than I want to spend, and be thinking about I might even have my phone up, like what's going on with
exactly.
AdCon, that requires full attention. Like I actually intend to buy something,
Yeah.
So there might be someone on Ackon no, probably not, right? No one's Ackon's going to be at LA Comic Con. Probably they're not going to be.
No. So yeah, and the Saturday slot is Jaws Comics and Tasty Cat Comics, which are two of our favorites. So
either Bill or Ali's got to give us a shout out. We're actually surrendering our LA Comic Con tickets.
Yep.
Because we prefer AdCon.
Yeah.
Like we've talked about it, but now again, putting our money where our mouth is, right?
Yeah.
So there's probably people out there listening or watching going, you guys are nuts. Like, what do you mean? I live in Missouri. I'd love to go to LA Comic Con.
Right.
Hey, if you want to go, I'll give you my ticket for half price. Now's your chance.
Yeah. So it really wasn't a hard decision.
Nah.
Like once you kind of like thought it all out, because that $60 just evolves into a lot more than just $60.
Yeah.
It evolves into all the fees. Eating fees, parking fees, eating fees.
Was I supposed to bring Jersey Mike's today? I kind of feel like I was.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean,
yeah, I kind of blew that. I forgot. Now I'm getting hungry. Like I'm feeling hungry right now. But you were eating when I got here, so you're fine. But it just occurred to me.
You pick it up and bring it back later.
I failed. It's okay. I'm taking my wife out to dinner tonight, so it means I'll be really hungry for that. So
there you go.
That's probably for the best.
So yeah. Bring it Saturday when we live stream.
For sure.
So I guess saying that Saturday we're actually going to live stream one of the sales, either Tasty or Jaws, maybe both. Just kind of feel it out.
Yeah.
See what the chat is, just what the vibe of the night is. Yeah.
Well, you already mentioned how good Jaws is, and I really like watching Tasty Cat Comics stuff. He's very a wide variety, always really good stuff. Yeah, and that was part of the decision. Honestly, is we looked at because Elite released a schedule, and we're looking what's going on who are the dealers on Saturday, and like all of them were pretty much ones that I would want.
Yeah.
To be there for
to sit down and watch.
Yes. So it just wasn't meant, to be for us to miss that.
Yeah. True. So. We'll live stream here on this channel. Mm-hmm. We'll be sitting right here with the one camera set up instead of 3.
Yeah.
And we'll have it on the TV there. So if you want to join us, you can watch us on the computer. Yeah. Watch AtCon on your phone. AtCon is better watched on the phone because there's no lag. So I would recommend that. I'll probably try to mirror my phone so that we don't get lag.
Yeah.
When we watch, but
then you can brag to your friends that you sniped us on something because it'll be live, right? So we'll be like trying to go make an offer, and then someone's going to go pew pew, and Ollie will say from the bushes. It came from the bushes.
Yeah. So if you want to hang out while we do that, that'll be on Saturday.
Yeah.
I don't know what time yet because I have the schedule, but we'll just have to iron out those details. Yeah. Anyways, on to news.
Yeah.
Thunderbolts trailer came out. What'd you think?
I don't really know. I don't think there was enough in the trailer for me to think anything except that there's a lot of action scenes. Like I don't know what the story is, based on that. So
that's a good thing.
But which I think is good. Yeah, you don't want to spoil it.
Yeah.
Sometimes people complain because the trailers give away way too much. You know, but it looks like an origin story for the group, which would make sense, right? Some pretty cool action scenes, though, I have to say.
Yeah.
And the cast is great. It's good to see Bucky back, doing stuff. Frances Pugh is awesome. So, she's going to be great.
Florence.
Did I say Frances?
Yeah.
Yeah. You know why? Because I just been reading a book about this, the St. Francis Dam collapse from 30 years ago. So I'm sorry, from the 1930s or something like that. But anyway, yeah. I don't know. To be honest, I don't know a lot about the Thunderbolts. I don't know a lot about what the story's going to be. But I'm definitely going to, I'm down for it.
Yeah.
You know better,
not much. Like it's Thunderbolts with an asterisk. That's the name. That's the title. People are trying to figure out what the asterisk means. Because
possessive.
Okay. The thought is that it's a placeholder. Like they're the Thunderbolts for now. And people are thinking that might become the Dark Avengers.
Okay.
Which I think is probably a good possibility. Just because Thunderbolts are a little bit more Suicide Squad-y in the sense that it's like more like villain, like it's more like villains, being weaponized for good, as opposed to like everybody that we have, with the exception of Ghost, who I don't really remember what happened with Ghost at the end of Ant-Man 2, but all the characters have had some sort of redemption arc already.
Yeah.
So like Bucky's had his redemption arc, Yelena Belova has, Red Guardian has, Taskmaster has. So the only two is only because I can't remember the movie because it was a very forgettable movie. Was Ant-Man and the Wasp. So I don't remember what happened with Ghost at the end of that. And then the new character that they're introducing, which was that dude in like the hospital wear, is a Sentry.
Okay.
So
yeah,
the jury's still out on him. But
I tell you what, and I know we're going to get to this in a minute, but my posture toward MCU trailers has shifted in the last maybe 6 months because they just had such a bad run that I kind of was already in a negative posture toward whatever was coming out. And so unless the trailer gave me something really to get excited about, I was like, yeah, here we go again. It's going to be another,
Yeah.
But now the trailer is somewhat ambiguous. It's showing us it's a lot of action, but I'm always interested in story, and they didn't give us much of that. But I'm much more willing to give it the benefit of the doubt. Again, like I'm optimistic because lately it seems that Marvel's been giving us, at least the last few things that we've seen, reason to be optimistic. So sure, looks like fun.
Yeah, I'm excited. Also, all these actors are like fantastic actors. In this movie, so like the movie is not going to be like performance wise. It's going to be top tier.
Yeah,
it's not going to. We're not going to be like, ooh, because I feel like that's some of the problem with some of the Disney Plus stuff.
Cringy stuff, yeah.
It's just like, this acting is bad. And I said it last week, and we'll talk about Agatha a little bit, but Teen hasn't gotten better in his acting. And so it's like the falling short of like these movies is they are giving new, fresh actors time because you kind of have to do that in the Marvel or Star Wars universe. Is like it kind of breaks immersion when you just have too many like popular faces.
Yeah,
and especially with over 10 years of Marvel movies at this point, like you need something fresh, and one of the best ways to do that is new actors. But that comes with a growing,
and it could grow into the role. But it's.
But we'll talk about Agatha in a minute. But so I'm excited. I thought the trailer was great. I thought it looks really cool. I'm really excited for it.
Okay.
You're right. They didn't give us much story, but I think it's intentional because I think it's all like everything about it is just mysterious. What the heck does this asterisk mean? Why does what's her name? Val, the actress from
why is he Lane from Seinfeld in the movie? I'm just kidding.
What's her name?
Yeah, she's the love interest of was it Nick Fury at some point? What am I getting that mixed up?
Not in the movie.
Yeah, but she got a very fancy name. The character has a fancy name.
Yeah.
4 different syllables in the last name, but I'm not really up on my
her name's Val, but why does she own Avengers Tower? So there's just a lot of like mystery. So I think I think that's good. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm really excited for it. Next and last news that we got this week is Kyle Chandler has apparently blown past the names of Chris Pine and Timothy Olyphant to be our Hal Jordan in the DCU. Variety came out with an article and said that they're negotiating a deal. So that means that Josh Brolin passed.
Yeah.
Don't know what happened with Chris Pine and Timothy Olyphant, but now the role is Kyle Chandler's to have. Some leakers are saying that the deal is already done, but as far as Variety says, which is an official news source, says that they're working out the deal right now. So I know nothing about Kyle Chandler.
Okay.
The only things that I know is that he's played authoritative roles mostly in his acting career.
Yeah.
He was the coach in Friday Night Lights.
Right.
He plays a cop or a military personnel a lot.
Yeah.
And so he just kind of always plays this man who's in a position of authority. And with what we've heard, their like idea for the Lantern show, that it's a no nonsense older Hal Jordan mentoring Jon Stewart.
I think it's perfect.
Yeah.
I've seen the Friday Night Lights TV show in its entirety twice. I really liked it. And I kept telling my wife, you got to watch it. You'll like it. And, she's like, I don't know. It's a football show. And I'm like, no. Well, it's like, it's this teeny bopper show. I'm like, well, yeah, there's some of that, but she liked the Friday Night Lights movie. I'm like, no, you really like it. Yeah. And you're going to like, and Billy Bob Thornton, is that his name?
Oh yeah.
You're going to like it because you're going to love the coach. He's so relatable. And his wife is played by the same actress who played the wife in the movie. Anyway, so she starts watching it, and like for 2 days in a row, I come home from work and she's just watching the show. Like she just binged it. She binged it. She loved it. And the coach is a big part of the reason. He's authoritative, but the way he plays it is he's also got a great sense of humor, kind of dry sense of humor, and he's also a dad and he's a husband, and those sides of him, he's got a soft side in addition to being tough. He can be tough, and I just really like him. And he doesn't, outside of that, because that was like 15 years ago that show kind of was big, and he won, I think, an Emmy for that or whatever. It's not like he comes to this role the way Chris Pine would come to it, where you're thinking, oh, look, it's Captain Kirk, or Josh Brolin,
yeah.
Thanos,
Thanos,
or whatever.
Cable,
yeah, it's big, it's got a lot. So I think that is a good thing based on what you just kind of already said earlier, where it feels fresh, and I just think he's going to do a good job.
Yeah.
I know it's not totally up to the actor because they're really at the mercy of the editors and the directors in the end. That must be scary to be an actor because you're working really hard, you do your scene, and then it could be cut in such a way that make you look like you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah.
I don't think that's going to be a case with Chandler because he's wait, what did I just say? Chandler?
Yeah, that's his last name.
Yeah. Because he's very natural. That's when I say that about an actor, that means I forget that there's an actor. I just think they become the person.
Yeah.
So I think it's a good choice. And I don't know a lot about the Green Lantern. It's not like I'm up on a whole bunch of Green Lantern stuff. I have to admit that the Green Lantern is a pretty, outside of the early Neil Adams, Denny O'Neil stuff, I really don't. I'm not up on my Green Lantern lore. I don't even really understand how Hal Jordan should be played. So
sure,
Yeah,
I have not read Green Lantern, like anything, nothing.
Yeah, we got to get in touch with Mint Hunter Comics. He's a big Green Lantern fan.
I have no clue who that is.
Yeah,
but
he's on YouTube. He talks about Green Lantern all the time.
Yeah. So, yeah. I'm excited either way. Like Jon Stewart, there's a short list, but nothing official, just from leakers that there's like 5 or 6 actors that are kind of in the running.
Okay.
So I guess that's not a short list, but it will become a short list soon enough.
Yeah, that's right.
So I'm excited.
When are they planning to go into production? Do you know?
Probably next year.
Okay.
So yeah, I've never seen Kyle Chandler act in anything. I watched a video and
he's good.
They just pointed out that he's played a lot of he's played dads a lot, coaches, cop, like a army, marine, like high ranking official. Right. So like it's kind of like up his alley a little bit.
Yeah, it'll be really good. Oh man, I'm excited to see DC getting back into the game. You know,
Yeah.
it's been too long, and you know, MCU cast such a large shadow in the last 15 years. It's been kind of hard to compete with, but let's not forget all the properties that DC, you know, Warner Brothers owns. You know, we could be having this level of fun times 2. Like if DC is really bringing it, think how much fun that could be if there's like just straight up, you know, comic book wars in the movies where they're just trying to one up each other and they're really pouring in the investment and getting the right productions together. Could be amazing.
Yeah, that could be.
You know, we've had a great run just with DC kind of not doing a lot.
Yeah.
After, you know, not except for Batman, obviously, but I mean, I'm excited. I hope it's good. Please be good.
Yeah, it'll be a show, so that's interesting.
Yeah.
But first up is Superman this summer, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I'm ready.
That Superman has a lot on his shoulders.
That makes sense.
So yeah, not only are you Superman, but you're also like you are setting the tone for 10 to 15 years of movies. So
yeah, if they get out of the gate with their marquee, I mean, you could argue when talking about motion pictures, it's probably Batman's the marquee. I mean, Batman just got his star on Hollywood Walk of Fame.
Yeah.
He's the first one. Not before he's the first comic book character to get a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Not Superman.
Yeah.
Batman, because Batman's more present in the motion picture world than even Superman. But that said, Superman does carry the flag for DC. You know, has always been. If they roll out Superman as a movie and it flops, that's a lot of headwind for every other movie coming out. Like we're all going to be like, oh, here we go. You know? And so it's a lot riding on it.
Yeah.
But if anybody can carry it, the Man of Tomorrow can do it.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, I watched this video about the licensing rights for Batman in television. And I didn't know this, but there is potential that Disney actually owns the television rights to Batman.
Really?
Which is why you've never seen Batman like officially in any TV shows. But you've had Lois and Clark, that 90s TV show.
Yeah.
Superman and Lois, Smallville. Yeah, those are the 3 action live TV shows about Superman. There was Gotham, but Gotham was not about Bruce. Gotham was about why am I blanking on his name? Commissioner Gordon.
Yep.
And the Rogues Gallery. Bruce Wayne was in it. Didn't really show up as Batman until like the last scene of the last episode. And then every single like Batman live action TV show is always about another like some adjacent character where Bruce Wayne might Bruce Wayne makes an appearance, but not Batman in the suit.
Yeah, right.
So this dates back all the way to the 1960s Adam West TV show, where ABC was producing the show, which Disney owns now. But the people that like owned the rights at the time had passed, and like, if you're interested in watching, I'll send it to you.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's kind of speculation. I mean, it's like speculation, but it's not. But it almost seems like kind of ABC/Disney kind of has the final approval for these things.
So maybe right now, nobody truly owns it. Maybe you can own it. It's floating around. Grab it.
No, so like, I guess like very quickly, what happened was these like 2 guys owned it. They've since passed. The rights kind of like spread out. Somebody ended up gathering all the rights. And putting them together. But the thing was, when the rights were separate, the contract was a little bit different. But when all the rights were together, like when one single person or entity owned it, then it had like kind of like a different kind of contract that it followed, I guess, so to say.
Okay.
So now that they're all together, then it's like, then that's where like ABC has kind of like their hand in the pot.
So this discounts any animated stuff that might happen.
Yeah,
that's something altogether different. Wow, that's fascinating.
Yeah,
that's really unexpected.
Yeah, so this guy just did all the like legal homework of like figuring out like he literally was just like tracing where the rights were like because the rights bounce back just between so many different people because of the passing, but it essentially what it boils down to is like the Adam West Batman TV show, like ownership of that property is owned by ABC still. And so somehow in some way, I'll send you the video so it's more clear. Somehow in some way, any other live action TV show is still tied somehow to the old 60s Batman TV show.
That's an interesting little bit of trivia.
So it's just like a connection.
Yeah.
So Warner Brothers, Disney's probably like, yeah, or ABC, which is still Disney. It's probably like, yeah, you can have it for $4 billion.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
yeah. We're not going to do anything with it, but we're not going to let you do anything with it either, right? Unless you want to pay us for it. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's just, it's a lot of like really weird legal gymnastics and like small, like dots and iotas that like really, that make it a really complicated thing.
When you think about it, it really is just happenstance that Disney, or I'm sorry, that Marvel and DC are not owned by the same company. Like they very well could be at this point. There's been so much convergence in media over the decades. Why doesn't some conglomerate own both? But aren't you glad they don't?
Yeah.
Like, it's so much better if these two universes aren't owned by the same company. Like it would seem somehow that like if that shouldn't happen. Like but I mean, all these different companies merge. Paramount merges with Disney, and Disney buys ABC, and and Warner Brothers and Universal, like all these things, Sony, and merging. Probably eventually, the same person that owns Spider-Man is going to own Superman.
Yeah,
I say same person, same corporate group.
Yeah,
I hope I'm not around for that. Like I think that's a bummer. I think something is lost in that. I think I think it's best, if they are competing. Competition brings out the best. They should be competing.
Yeah, this guy's research kind of started because he was interested. He found this person way back in the day that was making like these like figurine type things modeled after the 60s Batman show. And Warner Brothers wanted to sue. And then that guy got a lawyer, and the lawyer discovered that because it was specifically over to the 1960s Batman, that Warner Brothers had no right to sue, essentially. And so that guy ended up winning in court.
But did a new plaintiff emerge?
I don't think
Marvel
so.
say, well, we'll sue you?
No,
okay.
No.
We didn't know we had the rights to, but we'll sue you anyway.
Yeah, so it's complicated, but I'll send it to you.
Yeah, please do.
You'll like
I'm
it.
curious about that. That's interesting.
So, next up
is Agatha All Along. So
spoilers, last chance, spoilers from here on out.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just going to come out the gate and say it. We finally got the name drop.
The name drop you've been waiting for.
The name we've all been waiting for. Everybody online has been waiting for this
a long time.
Since 2021, WandaVision. Mephisto. His name was said. He now officially exists in the universe.
Yep. Silver Surfer issue 3's popping left and right.
Yep.
Watch for it on the in the hot list this week as you're watching this. I'd be surprised if it's not there.
Yeah.
Because I want to go buy a copy now.
Yeah.
Couldn't they wait at least one more week till after AdCon?
Okay. Which is funny because I was negotiating with that Silver Surfer 3 before this.
All right.
So and that's why I kind of knew like I told you last week, like they said that a name that was going around during the WandaVision time was going to be name dropped in episode 3. So we kind of knew it was coming. But yeah, Mephisto, it's a huge name reveal because it's a ton of lore now. Like it's an easy introduction to Ghost Rider. Obviously they haven't showed Mephisto yet, but they will. So I guess that's also part of the conversation is like, will he be revealed in the show? Is this all that we get? But to bring it back, so the Mephisto name drop was in relation to Teen.
Yep.
And who he is. And
and who he might be.
And so, yeah, an agent of Mephisto was the terminology used. And what was the other one? Because she called him two things. She said,
"Oh yeah."
So she said an agent of Mephisto, or
well, I don't know if it was her that said it, but it intimated that perhaps it's Agatha's son.
Oh no, yes, but because she was speculating on who he was, right? And then she was speculating.
I can't remember. I watched it this morning and I don't remember. So my brain.
But yeah, so it's kind of funny because there's a YouTube media conglomerate, I guess you could say, called I guess a media company. We don't use the word conglomerate anymore.
Yeah.
But called New Rockstars, and what they do is they do breakdowns of videos of movies, of TV shows. They talk about Easter eggs. They do a lot of theories, and so this guy on New Rockstars, his name is Eric Voss. He was kind of the one. I don't know if he was the first one, but I will say he was the most popular one to kind of pioneer the Mephisto train during the WandaVision. And so when he didn't pop up on WandaVision, social media kind of like came down on him for like his theorizing and stuff, and almost kind of like labeled him like this like weird like Mephisto obsessive person. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's theorizing. One, it's fun. Truthfully, in that movie or in that show, Mephisto makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, sure.
They even like the devil's in the details is a line from the show. Ralph Boner, which is still so confusing to me, which Evan Peters comes back as Quicksilver, but he's not Quicksilver. He calls Wanda's kids demon spawns, which they are. Like in the comics, her kids are manifestations of Mephisto. Like, so it was all there.
The Darkhold prominently,
Darkhold
is featured. Yeah, I mean that's all comes from you talk about in sports like this is the coaching tree of Popovich or the coaching tree. Of, that's all from the Mephisto tree.
Yeah,
all of these things.
So I kind of feel bad for him because like people were like bashing him for it. They're saying he's like obsessed with Mephisto, and like even when he's like theorizing around Agatha, like you can tell he's trying not to be the guy who's like pioneering it for like Agatha, that like he's gonna be here. Right. But he posted a funny TikTok where like he was like sitting down watching Agatha, and then the name drop happens, and like this like ethereal music starts playing, and he like just starts like he like walks outside and he's like basking in the sun, and he's like redeemed. Finally I've been vindicated. But man, Eric Voss, if you're watching this, if you see this somehow, dude, thanks for giving us incredible theories. Yeah. And we want more Mephisto theories. Give us even more. Let the haters hate. We want more Mephisto theories.
And enjoy your basking. You've earned it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean they're obviously expanding the MCU and television, or obviously in the movies, into this sort of occultish area, Midnight Suns, the Johnny Blaze, just they're going into this arena, and Scarlet Witch kind of ushered it in. So it only stands to reason that if you're going to do that, you can't exclude the character of Mephisto, because he is the author of it all, in the Marvel lore. So if you're going to explore witchcraft, as a trope, as they do in Agatha, then it just stands to reason, right? Yeah, that's going to come up. So I wasn't surprised at all. Kind of felt natural when I did. It wasn't like the alarms went off. I just when I heard it, I'm like, yeah, of course.
Yeah. So there's a couple theories going around. One of them is from Eric Voss. Says that he doesn't think Mephisto will show up. That this is a one and done. One of the other theories going around is that this is like, so from, apparently what Disney does is they send out to like media companies and like YouTubers who do like these breakdowns and stuff and just like review people in general, they'll send them like the first few episodes. But what these reviewers have all come to realize is that Disney always sends them a cutoff point, and then the next episode is normally like a big reveal. So it's happened every single time with these shows. So in this scenario, the reviewers all got up to episode 4. So all the YouTube theories, Easter egg people, they've all seen up to episode 4, and they haven't seen, I believe it's 9 episodes, so 5 to 9. So episode 5 could be a reveal. Now that could just be that some of those reviewers are saying like that could just be that we finally get to figure out who Teen is in episode 5, or we get a Mephisto reveal in 5. I don't know. This could just be like putting the ball on the tee for Mephisto to show up later and to get the home run. I don't know. I don't know if we'll see him. I could really see it going both ways.
Yeah.
I could see Mephisto stealing too much spotlight from kind of Agatha and the storyline.
Yeah.
But I don't think people would be mad about that. Because yes, Mephisto is somebody that pretty much everybody who's like locked in to MCU has wanted for the last 3 to 4 years.
Yeah.
But I think he's so much more than like bringing in like just like a popular name, because he's, in all honesty, like he's not that like super popular. He just brings a ton of lore with him, which is really cool lore.
It's like getting a content unlock in a game.
Yeah, no, literally.
You know?
So, I mean, a name drop is like the first of that.
Yeah.
It's like putting the key, and it's like unlocking the key, and then showing him is like taking the key out, and now the latch is fully unlocked.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, whatever they do, it is great. But the important thing is that they've done it. Like they have, like you said, opened this door, and now a lot of things can come through.
Yeah, I mean, with Mephisto, you could see a lot of. You could have redemption for Agatha, like opposite of Mephisto, or you could have an even more of an evil turn with Agatha, deciding to like kind of full send more into like an evil path, which I think would honestly, I would prefer that.
It's too early for her to have a redemption.
Yeah.
I think like in the great scheme of story arcs and the big story that's being told over a lot of different shows and movies, and as we know how Marvel likes to do things, there's room for a redemption arc for a character like Agatha, because she isn't entirely a villain in the Marvel comic books. At least she's Franklin Richards' nanny. But the truth is she is a witch. Yeah. She is a character that's defined as always on the wrong side of the battle in historically, right?
Yeah.
Like they even joke about it themselves, like in the show, like, oh, we're not, I don't have any green skin, or they are the bad guys, and she does back that up. She's manipulating everybody in the first 3 episodes.
Yeah,
she's doesn't really seem to care if somebody dies or doesn't die, or and she's, I'm going next, and that kind of thing, and all that. But she's still accessible. Like she's the protagonist of the show. So she has to be identifiable, relatable to the audience.
Yeah.
And it could be after 9 episodes that she's further down the road of being a villain, and that's totally fine.
Yeah.
Because once she has the character arc and is redeemed, then it's kind of the cul-de-sac for the character.
Yeah.
You're done. Like, what are you supposed to do at that point to keep it interesting? So.
Yeah, I think, she's no doubt been the villain. I mean, she manipulated Wanda into creating the hex and doing the whole thing. Multiverse of Madness was being written at the same time that WandaVision was being filmed. And so that's why there's like not the best continuity between those, because they make Wanda the villain. But like when you get to the end of WandaVision, she's like clearly not a villain.
Right.
So that's kind of wise, because both those movies show were in development at the same time, and the writers just were not communicating for whatever reason, which I think is dumb. But anyways, Agatha was the villain of WandaVision.
Yep.
You get here, she's a fan favorite, because she had the catchy song. And Catherine Hahn is just a likable.
She is likable. That's the thing. She's likable.
So then you get to Agatha all along. People are bought into the character, right? She had the catchy song. And now you see her as a little bit of, she's kind of a victim of Wanda now because Wanda put her back into the spell.
Yeah.
But in like a protective sense of like, I can't let you roam free because of the power that you have and what you've caused.
Yeah.
Like the harm you've caused me, which then parlayed into the harm that you caused Westview.
Yeah.
So she puts her back into the spell. I guess the theory is that when Wanda was crushed under the rocks in Multiverse of Madness, that's when the spell stopped. So
yeah, well, she's not. Wanda's coming back. We already know that, so she's not dead.
Yeah. So I think in the first episode, you kind of get a little bit of sympathy for Agatha because you're like, oh dang, like this is the life she's living. Like now she's living what Wanda had to live through. But then by the time you get to episode 2, when that spell is gone, she's sneaky, she's conniving, she can't be trusted, and especially in this episode 3, I feel like this is when she was the most selfish.
Oh yeah.
The most like pushing people aside, making sure that she's safe. Like she didn't want to drink the wine.
Yeah.
She pushed Ali on aside, the other witch, and was like, me next, like you said earlier, and she jumped into the oven to escape first. Like she's very much herself forward. Sharon Davis died. She didn't seem to have any sympathy for that death.
Yeah, it's a fine line because when you have the character that the show's named after can't become unlikable because then you don't really you have to have that you have to have that to root for to a degree, but it doesn't mean that she has to become like the good guy either.
Yeah,
I think they're playing it pretty well. I liked episode 3. It set up a structure that I hope they follow, which is each episode is another trial. Like that would be, I think, that would be fun.
An escape room.
Yeah, I think that would be really fun because it's just, it becomes now a puzzle each time.
Yeah.
And, it wasn't, they only have 48 minutes to work with. So it's not like, they're going to do something too complicated. It was more character development through solving the puzzle. Like that one point where Agatha says to the potion person, like they can take your power, but they can't take your knowledge. So in that sense, she becomes a good guy to that sister of hers because she helps her regain a little bit of who she is.
Yeah.
I thought that was kind of cool. And again, it's just a cool structure. Like, and then they're back on the road, back on the, it's like, I keep referencing Wizard of Oz, but that's what it feels like to me.
Yeah.
Back on the yellow brick road, heading to go see the Great Oz. What's going to be there when they get there? I really, at this point, the most fun is I really have no idea.
Yeah.
I don't know what the deep desire is of any of these characters.
Yeah.
I really don't. I just know it's not going to be what they say it is. Whatever we think it is. For Agatha, she wants her powers back. But now we're getting hints that there are other things that she's pretty heartbroken about. I guess we're doing spoilers. So, we're told, hey, she gave up her son. She sacrificed her son for the Darkhold. And that vision that she gets hallucination is, you see her anguish over that. And then she quickly, when she comes back, it's like, oh, the vision was nothing, So now we're getting hints and clues that she's more complicated than just, I want my power.
Yeah.
Like, there's more, although if she did sacrifice her son for the Darkhold, then she's still all about getting power. But
yeah,
I think there's more to that story clearly than just power, or she wouldn't feel the way she feels.
Yeah. I mean, she has the room. We saw it in the first episode. She still has a little boy's room set up in her house.
Oh, right.
And it's
That's right.
Nicholas Scratch. He had trophies. He had drawings. It was all there. So he at least never aged past like 10, 12.
It's an interesting parallel to Wanda in WandaVision, because that's one of the things that she loses.
Yeah.
And that's the big pain that she has to suffer. She has to lose these kids that really never existed. And yet in her mind, in her heart, they did. And we we find out especially if Mephisto is involved, perhaps they do.
Yeah. Something else that Eric Voss pointed out in his breakdown of the episode is just about Agatha sacrificing her son for the Darkhold. There's a point in WandaVision. I think it's like the episode when it was like in the 70s, when they were doing like the 70s sitcom stuff, like Brady Bunch, where she kills Sparky, the dog, and then she like brings it over, and then Wanda's kids are sad, and Wanda says something along the lines of like, oh, like it's okay, like I can bring it back to life, like, and Agatha becomes the most sincere that she had been the whole show, and she gives her like this look, and she goes, "You can do that," like, where she looks like very genuine. Yeah. So that tied in with some other things, definitely make it seem like it's potentially something she did. Maybe even we were talking about misdirects earlier. I think what the misdirect is that she willingly did this. I don't think she willingly gave up her son.
No.
I think she was forced to, and yeah, this kind of ties into this thing. Who is Teen? I wrote 4 things here. Yeah. Isn't he an agent of Mephisto / son of Mephisto? Billy Kaplan / Wiccan. Mm-hmm. Is he Nicholas Scratch, her son? Who do you think he is?
I don't think that he is Nicholas Scratch. Okay. I know we've chatted about this a bit, but the only reason I think that is just story structure guess. Like I feel like they really made us think that after episode 3, and it's just me saying there's 6 more episodes, and the show is characterized by twists and turns and which is tricking each other. Yeah, witchery, right? Like the shenanigans, the Halloween shenanigans that you would expect. So I just don't think, like, there's no, the cliche, there's honor among thieves. I think that plays in this. Like the witches they're not going to really trust each other. Like, and so I'm just in the spirit of that. The fact that they made me think it's with several different pretty significant clues in that I'll call red herrings in episode 3. When you have 9 episodes, I'm just going to default to say I'm not going to bite on that. I think now it could be a double twist where they're making me think that, you know what I mean? I know you think what you think I think, and that kind of thing, where it just becomes like Princess this Bride. Logical shell game, exactly. And that's so that's the only, like, I have no other reason but that. Like, and I think it would be cool if it was, though. If he was Nicholas Scratch, because that brings in, we're back to Mephisto again. But anyway, I'll let you talk about that because you have some theories. So
I think it's actually a combination of all 3 in a way.
Ooh, okay.
So I think he's Nicholas Scratch, Wiccan, and an agent of Mephisto all in one.
Okay.
So I think that he is either possessed or has the spirit of Nicholas Scratch. He is Billy Kaplan.
Okay.
He's going to become Wiccan.
Oh my gosh.
He's going to become Wiccan and a magic wielder by becoming possessed by Nicholas Scratch, which I think has already happened. There's a couple things that make me think this. A lot of people think he's kind of Billy Kaplan and Nicholas Scratch. I'm kind of just adding to this theory, so this isn't my own original theory. But this is all coming from the end credits, like all the things that they're showing. They're showing, there's a news article on there that's about a 13-year-old who, I don't know, was died or was it was in a fatal car crash. Teen has already said he's 16 right now. 3 years ago, the news article was dated 3 years ago.
Okay.
3 years ago, he would have been 13. The article says it was a 13-year-old. That was about the same exact time. The date that they give was around the same time that WandaVision was going on.
Yeah.
So I think kind of what we have here is this teen, Billy Kaplan, died. And Mephisto, this is where I think it's an agent of Mephisto, Nicholas Scratch is now an agent of Mephisto and working with Mephisto. And Billy Kaplan died. And so then Mephisto was like sending Nicholas Scratch to take over the body of Billy Kaplan to make him survive. And then to go interact with Agatha after all that transpired in WandaVision. So I think he's Nicholas Scratch, who is an agent of Mephisto, possessing the body of Billy Kaplan.
If you get all that
thus
right,
creating Wiccan.
If you get all that right, man, I'll take you out to dinner, dude. Like that's a lot that has to work. But that would be cool. That's a pretty imaginative a theory, and I mean, it's not. It's certainly plausible. Like that's within the lore of it all.
So, and the reason why I put all three together is because I believe Nicholas Scratch is the leader of the Salem 7.
Yep.
And that's currently what we have now. And I think that Teen is the one who has like kind of manipulated Agatha to do it, but has been the one pulling the strings so far.
What's the first appearance of the Salem 7? I know it's in the Fantastic Four, and I know I own it. I just can't remember what it is.
Like 134.
Okay.
Well, it ends in it's a 1 and a 4. I just forget what the middle number is, I think.
All right.
So yeah, that's my theory. I think he's all three.
Are you liking the show?
Yeah, I'm enjoying it. Yeah, I think it's fun. It's like a little spooky. Like there were some spooky elements. In this episode.
I keep reminding myself that it is. You're just. I file it under the category of Halloween fun. You know? It's like not really to be taken seriously. Like I like people put skeletons and hang witches on broomsticks from their trees and get dressed up, and I just think of it as it's fun and games and I like a little spookiness in my Octobers. It's kind of fun. It's part of the whole thing, and obviously that's intentional by Marvel to do that, Disney Marvel to do that, and it seems to me that everybody is enjoying the show. Like I can't find last time we said it was like Rotten Tomatoes was at 76. I checked again; it was up to 82. Wow, that's a big number.
Yeah, that is.
And it might be higher even at that was before episode 3 dropped. Yeah. And so I think, and you just when something becomes a part of the pop culture and you see it just popping up in people's live streams about unrelated things and they're talking about, oh, this show, the episode 3 is so good, just kind of just getting brought up in unrelated spaces. That's when they've got, I guess, what they would call a hit on their hands, and it really is. It's spooky, but it's light and it's lighthearted. There's comedy in it. It's it's not like you're watching Blair Witch Project. Like Blair Witch Project, that's a movie for me. It was a one-time only thing, dude. That freaked me out.
I've never seen it.
Because
I don't like horror movies.
I believe in that kind of. I know there are evil forces in the world, and I know there's darkness, and Blair Witch really presents it, and it freaked me out.
Yeah.
I'm not feeling that. I don't feel that way about Agatha all along. It's like, okay, they're talking about witches and witches' brews and even Mephisto, but it's so clearly the tone of it is I don't want to say goofy because it's not goofy, but the tone of it is definitely lighter. Like it doesn't feel like we were talking about Joker versus Agatha all along. You can't compare the two because the tone's completely different,
Penguin.
right? Yeah, I mean Penguin. Yeah, you can't compare them. You can't compare the two. I'm glad you're here to fix me because I'm like, where? But because the tones are different. Agatha has even the way it's shot and the colors and it's and the music. It's supposed to be fun. It's a Halloween show.
It has to appeal to a general audience.
Yeah, they're not trying to say, I'll just leave it at that. It's just, but I'm having fun watching it, and so far so good. And I'm glad it's popular because, like I said, I've said before, and you saw it. Fantastic Four 94 is on the hot list this week.
Yeah, it is.
It's like 6 or 7 or something. I think 7, something like that, 7 or 8.
All right, so you got high praise for it. Yeah. I think it's a good show too. Like. It's
good for
fun.
what it is.
Yeah, it's fun. Rotten Tomatoes seems to think so too. We're a third of the way through the show. It's 9 episodes, so we're 3 episodes through. Deadpool and Wolverine does $1 billion in the box office. This show so far is being really well received. Trailers for Thunderbolts and Captain America 4 are being people are interested.
Yes.
And we got Daredevil Born Again coming in March. So is the MCU back? That's the question. Almost back?
Yeah, I'd say if what will it take for me to feel it's back? I think like 2 more movies that don't disappoint. So like Cap 4.
Yeah.
Which I think it's going to be good. Like I thought the trailer was awesome.
Yeah.
You know, and so is Thunderbolts the next one after that to come out, or no? It's probably Fantastic Four.
No, I think Thunderbolts is May.
Okay, so Thunderbolts.
Yeah.
If Captain America 4 is good, I'll say they're back. Even if Thunderbolts turns out to be basic, because it's still going to hinge on FF. Like the Fantastic Four movie is so critical to them because they're bringing so much in with the Fantastic Four that and it's never been done well. So if they manage to do that well, even if Thunderbolts, and I have no reason to think Thunderbolts won't be good, but even if Cap is good and Thunderbolts is, even if Thunderbolts isn't as good, if Fantastic Four is good, then they're back.
Yeah, I would say there's a lot hinging on Captain America 4. I would say if Captain America 4 is good, I would say we're back. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have no doubts that Daredevil Born Again is going to be good.
Yeah, we know that.
Yeah. Thunderbolts, I think it being good helps for sure. But I think if it's bad, people aren't going to really bat an eye. Only because the Black Widow movie was okay. And that's kind of where we got Red Guardian, Yelena Belova, and Taskmaster. And Ghost was in a kind of a more boring movie with Ant-Man 2.
Yeah.
So really it's just like Bucky. Like everybody loves Bucky. He's kind of a fan favorite. So I think people are just going to be excited for that. I think generally everybody kind of loves Florence Pugh. Sure. So people are just going to be excited to see her. And same with David Harbour, who plays Red Guardian. Like people like him because of Stranger Things. So I think you just have like a lot of actors that like people just really like right now. So I think it's just going to be like, I think it's got a low bar to succeed, which helps. I think people are excited about the actors that are in the movie. And I think if it doesn't do well, it's going to be like, yeah, well, I mean, look where those characters came from. Like the movies that they came out of.
The
like,
expectations aren't, people aren't, on pins and needles for it. I think what we witnessed with the MCU is probably just predictable, just cyclically speaking, when you come to the major motion picture industry, and I would say also the TV shows, in that they became cash cows. Like we were joking about Joker 2 a couple episodes ago. We're like, you're going to get you're getting a sequel whether you want one or not, because this movie made $1 billion. So and so Marvel had been so successful. I mean, so successful with the Iron Mans, with the Avengers, it was just hit after hit after hit. People waiting in line, for the movie. It was just like crazy that they almost had no choice but to turn up the pace and just start churning them out. They kind of all their investors, because they are a publicly traded company, all their investors and the board of directors, they had to be saying, we put out 10 movies and we made $10 billion. So let's put out 20 movies and make $20 billion. Even if we only make 15, that's an extra $5 billion. Let's just do it. And eventually what's going to happen, because it just has to, you have a dilution of talent. You just can't put that many things. You don't have that many. What made you successful was the talent that you hired to do it, whether it's actors, writers, directors, videographers, all that stuff, right? Cinematographers. You just dilute the talent. And the attention to detail just can't be there. You talk about, well, the writers weren't really communicating, even more recently. And then they kind of got slapped back, because you're just going to keep doing that until it doesn't work.
Right.
You're going to ride that golden goose until it doesn't work. And then when it doesn't work, it's going to not work. It's like a rolling tide. It's going to not work for like 10 movies in a row, because they've all been set in motion. And wherever you hit the point of saturation where the quality went down, we had to just endure those waves crashing in, because they had already been set in motion, and we just got one flop after another, like 7, 8 flops in a row. We're like, come on. And then they did the right thing. Hey, put the brakes. Let's get back to, let's get our talent in order. Let's make some good movies. I expect them to be good now. Yeah. Because I think they figured it out.
Yeah.
So, and if they get really big again, we'll probably go see, it'll probably happen again. It's just, when you think about it, just they're at the mercy of it being big business, and I don't want to say greed like in a negative sense, but greed.
Yeah, I mean those studio heads, they don't care about comics.
No, they can make money. That's what they're getting paid to do.
Yeah, I think Captain 4, probably the most important movie for them coming up. And then right after that, I think the most important movie for the future of the MCU is Fantastic Four. If the Fantastic Four is not good, then people, especially with Doom, and apparently RDJ's Doom is going to be coming from this universe. And yeah, if this FF movie is not good, I think it's going to be hard for people to buy into the whole Secret Wars thing. And they have insane things planned for those movies. So I think the future they've already put all their eggs in this basket.
I know.
FF does not exist in the 616 as far as we know. So we're coming from a different universe. They're putting all the eggs in the basket with RDJ and Doom. They're putting all the eggs in the basket with Secret Wars and banking on apparently everybody wants to see Tobey Maguire team up with Hugh Jackman's Wolverine. I don't care to see that, but apparently that's a big thing. So more of these legacy actors coming back into their roles for Secret Wars. So if FF flops, it's going to be interesting to see what happens.
And just because they put all their eggs in this basket and it's so important that it doesn't flop, doesn't guarantee that it won't flop. That's the scary part.
Yeah.
Everybody knows it needs to do well, including Marvel, especially Marvel. But if you could just guarantee a movie is good, then everybody would do it.
Yeah.
Wanting it to be good, needing it to be good, spending a lot of money on it, none of those things guarantees anything.
Right.
They've got a great property, but no one's figured out yet how to mold these 4 characters into a cohesive movie. But if they did it with Avengers, surely they can do it with Fantastic Four. But Avengers, though, they weren't. You could have an Avengers where Iron Man was the focus. You could have an Avengers where the Hulk was kind of, the spotlight was on the Hulk or Thor or something. I don't know if they have the guts to do that with Fantastic Four. Do they have the guts to say we don't have to give 25% to each one of these characters? If they do that, if they recognize they don't have to do that, I think they have a better chance to succeed.
Yeah, I think they will. Do that.
I hope so. I hope you're right. I really do.
Last thing I'll say about Agatha before we move on to your Joker review, since we're talking about corporate greed, was that Lady Death?
I don't know.
She was dressed like Lady Death.
Yeah.
She was behind the old lady, was a skeleton and a hooded character. Yeah. That is Lady Death.
Yeah, could be.
So Lady Death was the most important character in the Infinity Gauntlet story. She's the reason why Thanos was doing what he was doing.
Oof.
Deadpool. The introduction of Lady Death would also add a lot of dynamic to Deadpool's character because Deadpool is also in love with Lady Death.
Yeah.
Because he can't die. So it's this strong affection that he has for her.
Yeah.
So that wasn't just a skeleton. That's what I'll say.
Yeah.
So I'm curious if we will see Lady Death in this show because I think that was definitely, people aren't talking about it right now, but I think that was.
So would you throw that out as a potential sleeper for any comic book collectors if there's Lady Death keys?
So,
it's maybe your last week to be able to scoop them up or what?
Well, apparently it's Evil Ernie 1, which is already a crazy book.
Yeah.
So
Sorry.
there's some other books of Death, Death's first appearance as a cosmic entity, which is in Captain Marvel. So I guess you could go for that one, but yeah. Yeah, Lady Death, that's kind of my spec is maybe less Mephisto, maybe Death or Lady Death, I don't know.
At this point, I have to say, and I'm saying this to myself, if you don't own Silver Surfer 3 and you're thinking you want to own Silver Surfer 3 and you don't go get Silver Surfer 3, you don't have a right to complain in 2 months when the book is up 30%. You just don't. We've had 2 years run up to it.
Yeah.
You have plenty of opportunity. The book's down right now. Value might, by the time this thing comes out, it may already have ticked back up. but still below what it was. You don't have to worry about because you have a copy and you managed to hang on to that copy and still get first Doom. That has now leapt onto my at-con want list for sure. Like, because I have Silver Surfer 1, I have 2, I have 4, I have 7, I have FF48, 49. I don't have 3. I think it's an amazing cover and I love the orange. Anyway, when that thing shows up on AdCon on Saturday, y'all are gonna know that I got my thumbs on my phone at that point.
He's ready to go.
Please don't snipe me.
Yeah, so that's my theory. Maybe we won't see Mephisto. Maybe it'll be a Lady Death reveal. Or Death. I don't know whichever one they decide to go with.
It's been a fun ride, and I'm looking forward to the next episode.
We have seen Lady Death. Lady Death was in Thor: Love and Thunder, but as a statue.
Yeah, that's right.
So, yeah. Okay.
So let's talk about the Joker.
Yeah.
I finally watched it.
Go for it. What's your review?
And all the reasons that I said for not watching it just completely dissolved. I didn't think it was too dark at all. Like I would easily watch it again.
Really?
My wife was.
You watched in the middle of the day, right?
Yeah, my wife was shaking her head at me because I couldn't stop laughing. I was laughing.
Oh my gosh.
Along with the character with his nervous laughter. I found that to be so funny when he.
This dude's the Joker over here.
Yeah, I know. My Debbie kept telling me, "You sound just like him. Stop it." Was what she was saying because I was like, maybe it's just the way Joaquin Phoenix laughs or something. Not the high pitched one, but the one where he's just like truly just laughing, like he has that ailment that makes him laugh. I was tickled to death by that. I was laughing and I thought it was great. I really didn't feel creeped out by the movie, except, and spoilers are cool at this point, right? Except for when he killed his mom. Like that was pretty dark. Like that. Yeah. Like, anybody who doesn't think that's dark is like, you go see your psychiatrist right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was that obviously was dark. But what
about when he's slamming that dude's head into the wall?
Well, yeah, there's that. But I mean, I'm inoculated from that because I watched what Kingpin did.
True.
Which you posted on Instagram. No, I mean, he was at that point off his meds and going down into madness, essentially. But you could argue that everybody that he killed or punished actually deserved it. Like, it seems to me that his mom was an abusive mom, or at least allowed horrific abuse.
Oh.
And was lied to him his whole life and was psycho herself. And, almost like a Greek tragedy, he had to let go of that part of it. That's the only part of him that that connected him to humanity, right? Was his mom. Yeah. So for him to truly become the Joker, he has to break away from that. But a classic Joker would be, you have to be the one to do it. Like, you have to kill. And he does it so casually. Like, I didn't see it coming at all. He's like, just talking to her, la, la, la. And then he just walks up in the pillow and that's it. I'm like, is he really doing this right now? Is this really happening? He doesn't, at least I didn't think, he doesn't kill his girlfriend or whoever she was, like the one little love interest that he had. But he does creep her out by showing up in her apartment. But I don't think he kills her, right?
No, because it turns out it was all in his head.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
How did I miss that?
Yeah, that she... all the conversations he thought he was having with her was all in his head.
Really? How do you know that? Where was that? Was that revealed?
Towards the end. Yeah.
Okay. There was no.
Because she interacts with him in the hallway, and she's like, and she's like, oh no, it's when he's in her apartment.
Yeah.
And she's like, who are you? Like, what are you doing in here?
Right.
And that's when you're like, oh my gosh.
He invented that whole relationship. Yeah. Okay. Oh, that's wild.
Yeah.
Him shooting Robert De Niro's character, he's not wrong there either, because it's exactly why Murray had him on the show, to make fun of him.
Yeah.
He was cruel to him, and he brought him on the show to humiliate him further in front of the world. So I'm not saying any of that's justified. He's a Joker. He's overreacting.
Yeah.
But everybody that he kills is a bad actor, essentially. So, but now, I loved it. I thought it was really good. But I understand exactly what you mean when you say you don't need a sequel.
Yeah.
You don't need a sequel because the end, when he's up on the police car or whatever, and he's kind of ascended to his place of the maestro and master of chaos in Gotham. We got it. But I loved weaving in of Bruce Wayne and the Batman origin. I loved it. I thought it was so cool. I mean, I knew that was going to happen just as soon as he shows up at the Bruce Wayne gate or at the Wayne Manor, and Bruce Wayne is a boy. I'm like, oh, I guess it would make sense that the Joker would be older than Bruce. Why not? Like it could be whatever, right? So I thought that was pretty cool. I think though that the sequel could be good. Like I think it could work. I'm interested in following this Joaquin Phoenix played Joker into a new role. I just don't know.
Well, the thing with
how it's going to go.
Yeah, the thing with the sequel too is the ending is like when he's smoking the cigarette in therapy. It's like, is this whole thing in his head? Like,
oh my goodness!
Because the ending.
Well, he gets arrested because he's obviously killed the guy on TV. So, or at least we think he did.
Yeah. Well, it's when he's sitting in therapy and they're like talking to him, and you're like, wait, has he been in Arkham Asylum this whole time? Is he telling the story from his perspective? Is he telling a story? Like, I think that's what was like really unique about that ending was like when it came out, everybody on the internet was like, was it real or not? Like,
well, and I didn't understand.
And then he walks out with the blood.
Yeah. What was that? Did he kill her, or are they just saying this is so bizarre and it's all a vision?
Yeah. I mean, that's part of it. That's kind of like the question that I think the viewer like answers is like, that's what makes it so good is like you create kind of the ending for it is like, yeah, he killed her and he walked out, or it's like, no, this is all some like weird, like he's just some cuckoo head in Arkham Asylum.
Well, if he's invented the relationship with this girl, then it's conceivable that he invented killing Maury, whatever his name is, at the talk show host too, but I don't think he invented killing the people on the train though, because that created other people are talking about that.
Yeah.
So if maybe that's the moment where he has the psychotic break, because it was after that he has a relationship with the girl.
The dance.
Yeah. And then, that's interesting.
Well, you just, when it's revealed that he was just, the relationship with this girl was all in his head, that's when you're like, oh, okay, he's not a reliable narrator.
Yeah.
And then you get into the last scene of the movie where he's in Arkham Asylum talking to the therapist, and you're like, oh, he's really not a reliable narrator. Like,
yeah,
I don't know what the heck just happened. So that's what was cool about it was it. People had different takes. People were like, no, this is like, he's in there. Like, yeah, Arthur Fleck is in there, but he's imagining this whole Joker lifestyle that he never got to actually do.
And did he kill his mom? Yes or no? I mean, how much? Like, what if you're saying things? I think he did.
Well,
he has to.
That's where it comes back to like. I think people either see it as like, from the first scene until the scene of him in therapy smoking the cigarette. Either all of that is a hallucination, or all of it is real. Not like bits and pieces of it, but
okay.
I mean, I guess you could do. Well, no, I guess you couldn't because, yeah, it would either all have had to have happened in the past, and he's telling the story to the therapist, or it all happened in his imagination, and he's just telling a story to a therapist. So it depends which one you choose.
Oh man. Well, okay. So based on that, I'm curious. I am curious about watching the sequel because maybe I get some answers, but maybe what you're saying is no. What's cool is we don't need answers.
Well, that's the problem with the sequel. Is like, okay, well, if there's a sequel, and what we know from the trailers, he's going on trial for everything. Is that now makes everything was real, which is fine. Either way, it's fine. But you're just taking away like that cool conversation, that cool element of the first movie is like, and what makes the Joker cool is here's an origin story, but it actually ends in mystery.
Yeah.
So it still gives you that mysterious element of like, yeah, the Joker is just not a reliable narrator, and you can decide if this is Joker's origin, or you can decide if it's not.
Yeah. And Joker defying definition is right on character with Joker. Like,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
And then that's why it's also frustrating. Now you can probably see a little bit more into my frustration or argue against it with when Todd Phillips is like, yeah, he's not the clown prince of crime. Like, he's just like this psycho. And you're just like,
but he is.
You're ruining everything.
Yeah. But he is the clown prince of crime. He has a following and they want to emulate him. And we're going to get the Mad Love storyline, I imagine, in Joker 2, right? I mean, he's in Arkham and Harley Quinn is the co-star. So, I mean, Lady Gaga is the co-star as Harley Quinn. So
the ending for Joker 2 leaked on the internet this week.
Are you kidding me?
I read it because I couldn't help myself.
Oh, no, I don't want to know.
I won't tell you, but it's... Yeah.
Oh, man.
I'm trying not to do any
how are they gonna let that leak? That's terrible.
Yeah. So
you couldn't help yourself.
Yeah, I enjoy leaks. I don't know why. For some people it takes away from the movie experience. For me, it adds to it.
I can see that.
It doesn't, because it's like, is this actually going to happen? Like, are the studios releasing this information as like a misdirect? I just find it to be like a fun little game.
Yeah, it's part of the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you never, speaking of reliable sources and narrators, they could be completely lying to us to generate interest.
Oh, yeah. So
it's not a bad ploy. But I regret waiting as long as I did to see the movie because I would have enjoyed it as much when it came out. Like I liked it so much more than I thought I would. As in, I didn't think I would like it at all, and I actually really like it.
Yeah.
So, and I didn't lose any sleep over it at all. I must be demented. Something's wrong with me. You know?
Man, the scene in the train when he kills the guys, and then the dancing scene in the bathroom is creepy.
Yeah, it is very creepy. He lost so much weight. He looks like it's just emaciated. You know, he's a method actor, I guess.
And then when he slams the dude's head in the wall. That scene is like, what's creepy to me about that scene is he's like slamming that dude's head in the wall, and then like the short person, he's like, no, you've always been nice to me, and he walks away. You're just like, this guy is a psychopath.
And then he has to ask him to open the door. That was that was great. That was great. I mean, the poor guy's like, get me anything to stand on so I don't have to go back, because I mean, this guy is just as easily could kill me.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, but that was okay. That was a pretty dark moment, and I
think it's because his face at that point is like painted pure white. Like he's not sweating. It's not smeared. Yeah. His face is pure white, which is just a creepy look. And then as he's just smashing that dude's head in, it's just like getting splattered with blood.
And that guy, it came and went quickly on the screen. He gave Arthur the gun. But then he complained to the owner of the place that he tried to buy the gun from him, and then so he had a beef. So Arthur has a beef against him because he got him fired. I didn't quite understand all that.
I don't remember the details of it. I haven't seen it since I saw it in theaters.
But it was a classic sort of a victim mentality. If you're going to argue this was all in his head, like you know, this guy did me wrong, I'm going to kill him, even though he probably didn't. But you know. Joker's acting like the Joker. When
he's like leaving the clown thing, and he's like, and then he comes back and he's like, "Oops, I forgot to punch out."
Oh my goodness!
And he starts punching the thing. That was an improv.
How did he not break his hand? Like, he was wailing on that thing.
Yeah. So I don't know the actor's name off the top of my head, but the short person, he said in an interview that they were just like shooting. And the camera was just rolling. And then he walks back in and they didn't know what was happening. And then he makes the joke and he's like, and that was not in the script. And he starts punching and he says it was hysterical.
Wow. He was in deep into the role. Man. Yeah, that was, and the thing just falls off the wall. I mean, this is a great performance. I felt sorry for him. I did. Like, he was sympathetic. As crazy and wacky as he was, he was very much a product of, like you would say, he was a product of Gotham in a lot of ways. It infects you. It's like, it's the Mordor of DC Comics. You know, just, it's evil and you can't be in it and not get touched by it, you know. But
Yeah.
you had to feel sorry for him when he shows up at the gate at Wayne Manor, and he just trying, like, he suddenly thinks his life has meaning as he realizes, he thinks he knows who his dad is and thinks he understands, you know, all these things, and then to be treated the way he was treated, and then when he sees the dossier about his mom, it's just heartbreaking. Like, he's running away when he's reading it in the stairwell, and he's just realizes that his life is his mom. He's been lied to his whole life.
Yeah. So that's part of like the thing that people, they're like, kind of what I told you with like the whole like feeling bad for these types of like people who weaponize their mental health, and like that whole conversation is, some people are either like sympathetic towards it, or some people are like, you can't keep pushing the message that it's okay. Like, this isn't okay.
I see that.
Like, way to respond to tragedy in life.
Yeah. In today's day and age, I understand people throwing up the caution flags for that.
Yeah.
I totally get it. And that's a good point.
Yeah. The, what's creepy is, so Heath Ledger notoriously like sunk himself into the role of the Joker, lost himself both in a character sense and his life, because it was hard for him to get out of it. Joaquin Phoenix is not a method actor, so he wasn't method acting like Joaquin was. But I think what's creepy, and what some people on set were saying, was like, yeah, for sure, in that moment, punching that clock, like, you're acting, you're in the moment, you are that character. Like,
yeah,
he's definitely like immersed in that moment. But what people were saying was, like, as soon as the cameras were off, like they turned the cameras off, they called cut, he was like immediately Joaquin again. And people were saying on set that was just creepy. Like, and as creepy as somebody who's like Heath Ledger, who is being Joker 24/7 on set, or like Jared Leto, who was being Joker the whole time. It's just as creepy for somebody to jump into the role, to do as good as he did, to be as creepy, vile as he was, and then as soon as you call cut, you're Joaquin Phoenix again. Like, the fact that you can switch that character on and off like that, people were saying it was eerie. I think even Todd Phillips was like, because people had asked Todd Phillips in an interview, like, "Oh, is he method acting? Like, is he redoing what Ledger did?" And he was like, "No, he was when we called cut, he was Joaquin again." And he was like, and there was a sense of like weird creepiness along with that.
I wonder if he did that as in part kind of protect himself, having the cautionary tale of Heath Ledger, you know, just to make sure he didn't linger there, if he could.
I think he also might be one of those actors who's critical of method acting too. I think that there's a handful of actors out there who don't think that method acting is acting in its purest form. That acting in its purest form should be like, I am able to jump in and out of this character. Like, that is what acting is.
Rather than becoming the character.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think maybe not, because he was close friends with Heath, because his brother River and Heath Ledger were like best friends. But I feel like, or maybe that, I think it was him who was like anti, but more so like critical of it. But maybe I'm confusing it with somebody else. But I do know that there are like really good actors out there who are critical of people who do method.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I wouldn't choose to do method myself. Yeah. No.
So, all right, we're approaching the end here. That camera's going to turn off soon because we're about to hit the 2-hour mark.
We're going to make it happen. We're going to get done before it clicks off.
Yeah. So, Joker Folie à Deux review next week. At Con live stream next week. Hopefully, Fantastic Four 5 will be sitting right here next week.
Yes.
Yeah, that's about it for us today.
Yeah. Thanks for watching and listening.
Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Let us know what you guys think of Agatha so far.
Yeah.
Let us know what your thoughts are for the upcoming Joker.
Yeah. Go on Discord. What are you looking for at AtCon?
Yeah. Let us know.
We'll try not to interfere, bid against you.
Yeah, Discord link down in the description. And yeah, thanks so much for listening and watching, guys. And we'll see you guys next week.
Yeah, see ya.